There is only one decision I regret, and it is abortion.
I had an abortion, and it was something I regret to this day.
In 1973, women gathered in front of the U.S. Supreme Court to say they would be silent no more because their sisters were dying from illegal abortions. In 2003, women gathered again at the Supreme Court. This time they said they would be silent no more because legal abortion had caused them emotional, physical, and spiritual problems, and women are still dying. This personal perspective of abortion is the missing voice in the abortion debate, and it was the catalyst behind the development of the Silent No More awareness campaign. During the campaign gatherings, women share the reality of why we chose abortion.
My story was one of a young girl that I was engaged and I became pregnant, and I was thrilled. I was so excited. And the father of my baby not only did not want that baby, but he harassed me and pressed me and pushed me. I folded. I was responsible for that abortion, but it wasn't a choice I wanted.
The daddy didn't want it. He was making threats. That still wasn't reason enough. But Roe versus Wade had just passed, and my medical insurance paid for it, and that was real crazy now that I think back on it. But right after I did it, I began to wonder, did the baby feel it? Did it hurt? Was it a boy? Was it a girl?
Everybody had told me that it was the only thing that I could do as a 16-year-old girl facing a crisis pregnancy. They wouldn't let me see my ultrasound.
My mom said an abortion would be the best thing. The best thing for who? Not my baby, not me. She said it would end the pain I was in. Abortion did not end my pain, it began it.
My husband said we couldn't afford another baby. When I refused to have an abortion, he threatened to leave us. I'd never seen him so angry. I knew he meant it.
I decided to have my baby. I didn't think my boyfriend would have a problem with it, but to my surprise, the day that I told him, all of that came crashing down. He could not believe that I would even consider having the child. After, going through the discussion with him, and also after my father, who loved his daughter very much and knew that she had all these hopes and dreams, he convinced me and my boyfriend that abortion was my best choice.
While friends and family see abortion as a simple solution to an unintended pregnancy, we are rarely encouraged to talk about what happened during the actual abortion procedure.
As I lay there and listened to the vacuum cleaner suction out my baby, not only did the baby die, but a part of me died that day also.
I remember walking in the doctor's office while feeling my baby kicking inside of me. I remember leaving that office knowing that my body was preparing itself to expel this baby. And I knew that my baby was dying in me.
Having an abortion is often much more traumatic than we expect. We think we are the only ones struggling because no one talks about the feelings we go through afterwards. Listen to how our abortions have affected us.
They did not tell me having an abortion would increase the chances of having a miscarriage and the inability to be pregnant again.
So I caught a very bad infection that went into my kidney.
And for months, I was awakened in the night by screams, piercing in the night. They were mine.
I had this one recurrent dream of this baby falling, and I'm trying to reach it, and I'd wake up screaming because it was always just out of my reach.
Nobody told me that I would walk into this self-hatred that would drive me toward death. Nobody told me that I would use drugs to numb the pain, alcohol.
Emotionally, I suffered from deep depressions, breakups with boyfriends, guilt, shame, anger, fear, and a sense of enduring worthlessness.
I emerged from that healing institution with an invisible wound. A wound that went so deep that it would affect me for the rest of my life.
I started having nightmares and depression, and I had to seek help, and I realized I needed help for this healing. And I got it, and God's been good to me, and this ministry's been good for me.
As the Silent No More awareness campaign began to grow, men asked if they could share the regret they feel for their involvement in aborting their children.
I realized how small of a man I was, because if I had gone with her that day, I probably would have realized what was happening. Maybe I would have realized what was happening. Maybe I would have saw how upset, how broken she was, and taken her by the hand and said, come on, let's get out of this place.
I didn't defend the life of my own daughter based on misinformation, selfishness, fear, shame. I let her die to an abortionist knife. And I died the same day.
Forgiveness is the key to healing after abortion. Going through an abortion recovery program enables those suffering to also address many of the other emotions surrounding the experience.
And that's when my life really changed, because the post-abortion counseling brings up this emotions that have been festering inside of you for all these years, the unforgiveness, anger, grief, all these things that you've been burying down.
That night, a supernatural encounter with the living God derailed my attempt to take my own life. And it started a journey toward healing, reconciliation, and restoration that continues to this day.
You can't destroy the baby without destroying the mother. And you can't love and heal the baby without loving and healing the mother. That's what we want all Christians to do. We are calling in a particular way on pastors to proclaim that we who oppose abortion do not oppose those who have abortions, but rather we embrace them with the healing and mercy and forgiveness of Christ.
Women who have experienced forgiveness and healing become empowered to break the silence, proclaiming the truth about abortion. The campaign has designed 2 billboards, one that features Jennifer O'Neill and a second one that captures many faces who regret their abortions. These billboards are being used by groups who see the need to support life and reach out to those hurting. The campaign also produced 3 television and radio commercials.
When I found out I was pregnant, I thought I would lose my job.
My boyfriend told me to choose between him and the baby.
I was already struggling to care for one child, so I had an abortion.
I had trouble conceiving again. I tried to commit suicide.
I started to have nightmares.
You see, abortion didn't solve our problems.
It just created different ones. That's why we are silent no more.
We found help and healing, and you can too. Call or go online today.
The Silent No More awareness campaign is not an organization. It is simply a campaign to raise awareness. It is sponsored by Priests for Life and Noel, and does not directly seek to address the legal or political perspective of abortion, as many who claim to represent women do. While the other side sees the right to abortion about winning and losing, the campaign sees the right to abortion as wrong for women's health and well-being. Pregnant women deserve better than abortion. We need for society, especially churches, to offer real choices and support so abortion will be unnecessary and ultimately unthinkable. Please join us in raising awareness about the adverse effects of abortion by sharing the personal perspectives heard here. You could prevent another person from suffering the consequences of abortion and save a life.
We are silent no more.